then we'll go to Paul and then Justin, and then we'll keep it going.
Coach Beavers is in here praising, the physicality of your team. I guess, what did you feel like your team was able to do defensively to slow them down, especially there, when you pulled away in the second half?
Yeah, obviously, we had too many turnovers at halftime. That was not good. We were scoring, I think we scored 14 points, if I'm not mistaken, off our turnovers. And they had, a bunch of offensive rebounds. I think our defensive rebounding percentage was somewhere around 53%, so they were getting almost half, the rebounds back. And we were too. It was, very similar that way, but we just didn't feel like we were finishing the job that way. We were scoring off our turnovers. We had some decent possessions first shot, but they got too many second chance opportunities. I don't know how many he scored out of, but it just deflates you and it takes the air, out of the defense a little bit when that happens. And certainly, we try to play physical. We try to get on the backboards. Offensively, we're 44% tonight, which is a big number, and that was a big part of our game plan.
I think that was a season low for Josh, but it seemed like everybody else on the team picked him up and played especially well in the second half, especially defensively. What'd you think of that second group that came in there?
Yeah, I mean, they made a commitment to not let Josh get a bunch of clean looks. They did an excellent job on him. He didn't get many. He just didn't get many, and then certainly the foul trouble didn't help him either. But our bench was tremendous. I mean, that's why we won the game. We had so many productive guys come off the bench and do a lot of things that don't even show up in the stat sheet, and I thought that was a big difference in the game.
Chris, moving Jimmy into the starting line, was that a matchup thing or something else in there, and how you felt both of those guys, Jimmy and Tolu, handled that?
I guess for the record, it was between Tolu and I.
We'll go back to Robbie, and then we'll go to John and the Campbell.
Coach, this was kind of a shootout in the first three halves that you played against Ole Miss. What was the difference there in that second half today to kind of play y'all's game and kind of dictate the pace out how you wanted to?
That's what I was talking about at halftime with our staff. We can't guard these guys. They had 39 in the first half up there, and then 47, and they had 44 at home. And we're struggling. We're struggling to defend them, and it was frustrating. That's what we pride ourselves on. And the second half, I thought a few things happened. I thought Cam Matthews set the tone defensively with some big plays, some hustle plays. Like, people talk about 50-50 balls. If he got a ball, it was 20-80. I didn't think he had any chance of getting that ball. I really thought that gave us a boost. And then the crowd got into the game. Our kids fed off the crowd. It was loud. They were into the game. And, certainly you want your guys to play all the time, but, that's no secret that urges them on even more. And I thought Rams Davis was unbelievable defensively with his hands and just his activity. And a lot of guys were, but the biggest difference, like I said, was Cam setting the tone, and we just really locked down and got in stances and defended. And we didn't make any major changes with our structure. They just got some stops and got more confident.
We'll go back to the cameras, and John, go ahead, John.
Chris, would you say now that you have fully committed to Tolu coming off the bench for the rest of his Mississippi State career? No, I'm kidding.
Who's about to kill
Matt throws some
Tolu's
curveballs.
going to go for that.
Matt throws some curveballs. I throw one this time. No. Do you think there was kind of a little extra satisfaction, from your guys post game, considering the fact that not only that it's a rivalry game, but the fact that they also, won the last meeting in Oxford?
Sure. I mean, no one wants to get swept by your rivals. We didn't have it. Our only chance was to split this year after getting beat at their place, and it's something we talked about. The three things that we talked about from a program's perspective was it was a rivalry game, and everybody talks about it. And I've been here long enough to really understand how meaningful it is to both fan bases. It's a big deal. Certainly, I've coached long enough to be in a bunch of rivalries and series, and I get all that, but it was important. And we have a bunch of Mississippi kids on our roster, and for them to be able to have that, for the rest of their lives is a big deal, and certainly that was important. But the other parts were, hey, we got to move up in the SEC standings. We got to try to improve, our seeding every chance we get, and then, You know, the third thing, and I don't know, you know, right now it may not be as meaningful, but in March it's gonna be, is keep improving our resume. You know, we don't have that many opportunities left, and you gotta take advantage of them because they're gonna be gone here soon. And, you know, depending on who you talk to, you know, you'll have disagreements on which one is more important.
We'll go to Benjamin here, front row, the coach's right.
Big night on both ends for Ja Morant. He really helped key that run in the second half to help create some separation, and as well on the defensive end, really did a nice job on Murray. What do you see out of him tonight, and how pleased have you been with his progress lately?
Very pleased with his offensive progress. You know, he's been real consistent for us the last 3 or 4 games. You know, he finally missed a shot, right? He was 5 for 7. He made 2 games in a row where he didn't miss a shot, and I thought he was super aggressive tonight. He finished really well, even in some traffic with some trees around him. But more importantly than that, I've been a little disappointed with him, even at the Arkansas game. I grabbed him before the game. I said, "You need to guard, okay? Sit down in the stands and guard the ball." And he did. Like, he was relentless for the most part on defense. And I thought he just had a different mindset, and I've been a little disappointed with him. He just hasn't been the motored up as he's you know, had been in the past. And so I'm proud of him for that, and that really helped us.
We'll go down the line to coach's left here, front row.
Chris, last time you two faced off, you guys didn't have as much success in the paint, but tonight was a completely different story. What did you see in Ole Miss's defense to kind of incentivize your guys to go down low and attack the basket?
Well, one, when they're playing small ball a little bit more, you know, so whenever they played the small ball lineup, we were committed to running everything we had, you know, to try to just go right at the rim. So every time they were in that lineup, you know, that was kind of our deal. And then even, you know, when we started feeling confident that way, we even attacked, you know, the big guys a little bit more than we did, you know, up there. And, you know, people that are watching us know that we talk about paint touches all the time around here. And, you know, so many good things happen when you get the ball in the paint. You draw fouls more, obviously, you get closer to the basket. You know, you draw the defense, you can get inside out threes, get them in closeouts, etc. And we've been talking about it all year long, but the guys have been doing a better job of staying committed to it throughout the game.
Chris, you mentioned a couple times this year just about how this year's team isn't last year's team in terms of just the late season run, but what about this group of guys has allowed them now in back-to-back seasons with their backs against the wall to really get themselves off the mat and get going in these last month of the year?
Yeah, I like where they're at. You know, I like where they're at. You know, it's odd that it's similar in terms of our records, you know, back-to-back years with where we're at, you know, the first few games and even at the turn, I think they were 1 game off. And, you know, didn't want to be in that position, but we found ourselves in that position again. And certainly, I think I've told you guys before that, you know, it doesn't mean it's going to happen again. You know, that's the goal, but it doesn't mean because we did it last year it's going to happen again. And that's what I had to convince our guys that were here, like, don't rely on that. We got to do the things, you know, that got that done last year, and we're on our way. You know, we still got, you know, a bunch of games left and some great teams and opportunities, but they've had that mindset that they needed to fight back.
Time for a couple more, Steph.
Shaq was saying that he felt like the team was playing its best ball of the year right now, and that it was coming at the right time in the season. I guess, what do you think it is about this group that throughout anything that they've dealt with this year, they are in late February starting to kind of hit their stride and play some of their best basketball?
Yeah, Shaq's entitled to his opinion. No, in all seriousness, you know, we always want more. We're greedy. That's how we're built. But you know, they're got a chance to be playing their best basketball down the stretch. You know, it's coming. It's peeking around the corner. Every coach in America talks about it this time of the year. You want to be playing your best, and you know, we're trending in that direction. You know, I still believe that we still got things that we can get better at. We can still tidy some things up, but we're definitely playing a good brand of basketball for this particular team right now.
Justin and John to wrap us up.
Just a follow-up to that, Chris. I mean, you mentioned when I went with my question that you know, they're doing the things that they were doing last year to get themselves off in that. What I guess maybe specifically are you seeing over these last couple of weeks that are allowing them to turn the tide on their season on these last couple of weeks?
You know, I think our defensive numbers have improved quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 games. Certainly the first half tonight wasn't great, but overall we just adopted, you know, the mantra that we've tried to establish since we've been here, that hey, we're going to defend, we're going to rebound, and we're going to try to, you know, be as tougher than the teams we're playing against. And at the end of the day, you know, it's something you can have in your back pocket all the time. You know, it travels more often than not. And there's been times where we just haven't had that identity. It's not been as good as we needed, but at this point, mid-February, I think everybody is seeing what it could do for us, and if we, play that style of basketball and we stay in character, that we can win college basketball games.
How do you think Cam has kind of evolved as like a passer and playmaker on offense?
Big time. He's really improved. His playmaking ability, his handle, his decision making, he's like almost a different player than when we arrived at this point. I thought the play he made to start the second half, one of the first few plays, really set the tone, right? People talk about 50-50 balls, but that was like a 20-80 ball. Like he had about a 20% chance to get that ball, and the other kid had about an 80, and I didn't think he was going to get it. I just thought it was a heck of a play, and it really felt like it set the tone, and he did an excellent job coming out of the break. And then obviously when he got the third foul, makes you a little worried, because he's our heartbeat and he's our leader and our personality. And but the other guys on the bench, stepped up and did a good job. But he's just, he don't get enough credit for being as smart a basketball player as he is. His IQ is off the chart. He understands what we're doing out there. It's good or better than some of our coaches at times. Right? He's got suggestions at this point in his career. He'll question us on how we're guarding certain things in practice, and I love it. Like he's so bought in, and to be honest with you, during the games, I'll lean on him once in a while because he's out there.
All right, thank you.